Major SEC West clash this weekend between number 2 Auburn and number 3 Mississippi State in Starkville. You know, Nick Marshall's licking his chops after having a career day last year against the Bulldogs, though both these QBs in this matchup getting some serious Heisman love. Hey everybody, Bonnie Bernstein in our Campus Insiders studio. Auburn offensive coordinator Rhett Lashlee kind enough to hop on with us for a few minutes. Rhett, make your argument for why Nick Marshall is more Heisman worthy than Dak Prescott.
Well, it's pretty early in the season to be worrying about all that, but I think what Nick does is he wins, and as a quarterback, that's the most important stat. And he's, I think, 17-2 since he's been starting here, and he'll do whatever it takes. If it takes a 380-yard passing game like it did last year, or a 215-yard rushing game like it did at Tennessee, or balance like he had last week at LSU with 200 yards passing and 100 yards rushing, he's just willing to do whatever it takes to win. He comes up best in the clutch moments. When our guys really need to make plays, he always comes through for us. He's not a me guy. He's not about the stats. He just wants to win and lead his team, and that's what he does best.
Well, Sammy Coates was Marshall's go-to guy last year. He was your dominant receiver, but now you got a JC transfer in Duke Williams who's had a couple of impressive 100-yard games. What impact do you think that's had on the way secondaries approach your team?
I think it's been huge. Last year Sammy was our go-to guy, but teams could double him, and we'd have to get creative and move him around and have other guys step up. And when you got a guy like Sammy on one side who can really, really run, it's hard to cover him one-on-one. But then you put someone like Duke on the other side. If you're going to play man coverage against us, you can't take them both away. And so that balance, those guys really complement each other well. And that's why I think some games you see Duke have a big game. Some games you see Sammy have a big game because teams have to decide coming in what do they want to try to take away. And so having a healthy Sammy and having Duke over there is really, really big plus for us.
All right, well, let's talk about the defense at hand. Mississippi State's front seven, they're big. They're getting your quarterback's grill. They held Trey Mason under 100 yards last year. What messages are you really hitting home with your guys this week?
Well, that is similar to how we do things. They don't beat themselves. Their defense is as good as anybody in our league in the red zone. They're as good as anybody in our league on third down. And so we can't turn the football over. That's something we preach every week, this week more than ever on the road in a hostile environment against a great team. We got to protect the football, can't give them any gifts. And then, we're just going to have to out-execute them. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to a good offense against a good defense. And we got to execute better on third downs and in the red zone. And if we can do that and have some explosive plays, I think we'll be fine. But, we've got a veteran group that's used to playing in hostile environments. We're going to have to handle the noise very well. It's going to be rocking there, but I expect our guys to do that.
Rhett, I don't think a lot of folks realize that you've actually known Auburn's head coach, Gus Malzahn, forever. He coached you from 7th grade through your junior year at Shiloh Christian in Arkansas. Give me a feel for how his approach with quarterbacks now is different compared to back in the day with you.
He's certainly mellowed out a little bit. If you've ever seen Coach on the sidelines, he's very intense. He really gets mad when I tell this story, but we're up a couple touchdowns, and about 5 minutes to go, and I throw an interception, and it was a bad interception. And I'm coming off the sidelines, and there's 2 coaches holding him back at the numbers, and there's one grabbing me and escorting me away from him as he's screaming, "I'm going to kill him." And I felt like he meant every word of it at the moment. But nowadays the quarterbacks, they get something like, "Hey, just do better," or "I want to win," but nothing as extreme as I want to kill him. So we've come a long way since then.
Well, I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying your family and Auburn fans are glad that he didn't wind up doing that. Auburn and Mississippi State is going down in Stark Vegas at 3:30 Eastern on Saturday. Tigers offensive coordinator Rhett Lashlee, thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, Bonnie. Appreciate it.
And be sure to check out all of the highlights of Week 7 coming up on the Saturday Blitz only on Campus Insiders.